Real quickly before we begin, I want to thank this video's sponsor, CarMarshal.com. CarMarshal.com can save you lots of money on buying used or new vehicles, cars, trucks, school buses. If you want to save money, I'll have a link in the description down below. I know I'm going to
Developing this morning as well, an intense new video. It puts the Lakeland Police Department on the defense.
It appears to show officers using force on a man, and it has sparked outrage online. Fox 13's Kelly Cowan is live in Lakeland. Kelly, the department says that there is more than meets the eye in this story. What's going on?
Exactly. They're saying there's two sides to every story, and now we're hearing from the Lakeland police on their side of the story. But this video really caught fire last night on social media. It shows officers punching and kicking a man who's on the ground as those officers tried to restrain them. Now, the video was taken on a cell phone by Joel Alfaro. He was passing by at the time. The video immediately caused a firestorm on Facebook. Overnight, Lakeland police released a statement addressing the incident. They say their officers were checking on the welfare of the man who they'd noticed sleeping under the I-4 overpass on 98 North. Now, LPD says when they told the man to move, the 38-year-old, later identified as Justin Abbott, refused, even when officers told him that they would arrest him for trespassing. And that's when Lakeland police say officers Anthony and West, their first names have not been released to the media, tried to restrain Abbott, but he fought back. Police say he pushed Officer Anthony, causing them to fall to the ground, and that's when Officer West used his taser, but it was ineffective initially. In the video, both officers are seen punching and kicking Abbott. One even backs up several feet before kicking him again with the other officer on top of him. Now, I just spoke to a public information officer specifically about that part of this video, and he explains that when officers use their tasers, a secondary officer is trained to back up and back away first so he doesn't get tased. He told me that that officer at that time saw Abbott reaching for the taser, and that's why he runs up and kicks him. You see that in the video. He told me his officers are also acting completely in line with policy. Here's how the Lakeland police explain their use of force in their statement that they released around midnight last night. After a second attempt to deploy the conducted electricity weapon, that's often called a taser, Officer Anthony observed Abbott grab Officer West's CEW. Seeing Officer West struggling to regain control of his CEW, Officer Anthony struck Abbott several times before he was finally taken into custody. And as you can imagine, this is causing a lot of conversation on social media. A lot of people very upset, very angry about this video, asking for the police to also release their side of the story in video form, whether that be lapel video, dash cam video, any kind of body video that Lakeland police may have been wearing. And I checked with the department already this morning on that. They say they will not be releasing any of that video because they simply don't have it. They say their officers do not wear body video, and they weren't rolling on their dash cams either. So they're telling me that they don't have video of this incident to release to the public. Now, meanwhile, Abbott is facing trespassing charges along with resisting arrest with violence, and Lakeland police say that they are reviewing this incident as they do any use of force case. Guys.
All right, Kelly. Live for us this morning. Thank you. We'll talk to you later on.
Residents outraged as video shows cops hold homeless man down, savagely beat him. A video was posted online that showed police officers repeatedly hitting and punching a homeless man after they found him sleeping under a bridge. By Jack Burns, April 14, 2018. Lakeland, Florida. Cell phone footage has been released from bystanders who witnessed police officers repeatedly punching and hitting a homeless man while holding him down on the ground under a bridge. The resulting outrage on social media has forced the Lakeland Police Department to respond to allegations that its officers beat up a homeless man in an epic display of excessive force. Justin Abbott, 38, a homeless man was sleeping under a bridge when Lakeland police officer J.R. West woke him up and told him to leave. A second officer, Anthony, arrived to assist. The officers told Abbott, who was doing nothing more than sleeping, that he was in a dangerous location and he had to leave. According to Fox 13 News, he was given a trespass warning but refused to leave. They wrote. Police said Abbott shoved Officer Anthony, who fell to the ground, toppling everyone. West deployed his taser, but it was ineffective and Abbott continued to resist, police said. Officer Anthony stepped back to avoid being shocked, and they tried to deploy it again. While it is impossible to know for certain if the police are telling the truth as the video does not show Abbott striking anyone, what is certain is that all he was doing prior to being confronted by the officers was sleeping, and he was not attempting to harm anyone. According to police, the encounter escalated. Fox News 13 continues. Officer Anthony saw Abbott grab Officer West's taser, according to the Lakeland Police Department, and struck Abbott's arm several times to release the taser, said Sergeant Gary Gross, spokesperson for the agency. Sergeant Gary Ross, who was not present while Abbott was being beaten, issued statements of support for the Lakeland police officers. His comments seemed to imply the officers feared for their lives after waking the homeless man. He kicked the guy's arm so he would let go of the taser, and that worked. It probably saved the officers' lives. If that guy would have had the taser and pointed it, it would have incapacitated them. He could have got their gun. Activists claim local laws and ordinances have, in effect, made criminals of the homeless simply because they do not have a home. Lakeland's local ordinances have also criminalized sleeping out of doors. Under Chapter 70, Section 5 of the city's ordinances, sleeping outside is considered camping and is not allowed. In fact, one cannot even assume the position of sleeping in public without being guilty of breaking the local ordinance. It reads. 1. Camping means a. The assumption of a bodily position or positions of repose or sleep, out of doors, for an extended period of time. B. The assumption of a bodily position or positions of repose, out of doors, while having the apparent intention to occupy or utilize the space for extended repose or sleep. By passing such an ordinance, police now have probable cause to wake homeless individuals, such as Abbott, and to tell them to leave. But the pressing issue was whether or not the police abused their authority, needlessly escalated a conflict to the point which force was deemed permissible, and beat a homeless citizen without justification. The video seems to show West and Anthony giving Abbott a beat down while the homeless man was either face down or lying on his side. As the Free Thought Project has reported on numerous occasions, police officers will often shout "Stop resisting" while beating a suspect. They then can turn up their use of force from open-hand engagements to closed-fist engagements. Predictably, the Lakeland Police Department has said their officers were simply following protocol and nothing they did was against departmental policies. Following the beating, Abbott was taken to Lakeland Regional Medical Facility where he was treated and released. In a statement, the department promised to conduct a thorough review of its officers' actions. But conflicts of interest arise when officer actions are investigated by the very department within which they work. The entire procedure often amounts to something along the lines of, "We investigated ourselves and found we did nothing wrong." But would an outside agency or group arrive at the same conclusion? Homeless and mentally ill people are often the subject of excessive force from police, and in a recent incident in Portland, Oregon, a dozen officers were caught on video cornering and then executing a man inside a homeless shelter last week. Lakeland police officers do not wear body cameras, so their story cannot be verified by video recordings. What can be verified is that Justin Abbott was hit and punched repeatedly for what appears to be nothing more than sleeping under a bridge. Abbott has been charged with trespassing and resisting arrest. Watch the footage recorded by witnesses.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH, and I just wanted you to know that I am using this stuff under fair use, And also remember to like and subscribe this channel. Also too, keep in mind I do not make any money on YouTube. This is 5 hours work a day, you know, fighting for freedom. And you can donate with PayPal and Patreon. I just want you to think about this. If everybody gives to PayPal and Patreon, Patreon is every month. Actually, PayPal you can do every month. I have 12,000 subscribers. If everybody gives, I can quit my regular job and go full-time investigations on Charlotte County and possibly even more and beyond. So just keep that in mind. If everybody helps out, I can go full-time doing this. Thanks.